You've done the first step of the writing process. You've done your brainstorming, and you've come up with a general idea of what you're going to write about and what your thesis will be. Now it's time to gather evidence, the second step of the writing process. To gather evidence, you need to answer this question: what information do I need to prove my point? So for this essay, I'm going to need to start looking for evidence that shows that Hamlet's not such a great guy. Just make sure as you do this, you're keeping track of authors and page numbers so you can cite this information later. In this video, I'm going to give you 4 ways for how to start gathering evidence. Notice that some of these are very similar to how we brainstorm. The first method is to look through your annotations. Instead of trying to remember the entire book or play, see what you thought was significant when you were reading it by checking your highlights, underlinings, and notes. Mark or write down the ones that might apply to your paper. I'm looking through my book to see if I've marked anything about Hamlet not being such a great guy. I notice on page 835 that I've marked where he kills Polonius and how very casual he is about killing him, especially considering he's his girlfriend's dad. I'm going to write this down and include the page number. The second method is to look through your notes from class discussion. In class, we'll always talk about things that would be relevant to your paper, so it would be useful for you to take some notes and write down or mark page numbers of passages discussed in class. If you can find the text online, Control F can be really useful for finding that quote or that passage that you know is in there, but you just can't remember where, like, where does King Claudius die? Or where does Hamlet fight Laertes? Don't rely on this though, as it's all trial and error and can be really time-consuming. If your teacher has given you permission to look for scholarly articles for a paper, there are lots of good places you can go. Gale's Literature Resource Center or Google Scholar can both yield some great results. Just make sure you're keeping track of the sources and leaving room for original thoughts of your own.